Yeah, it is. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Actually Comics. My name is Tristan, and I'm joined today, as always, by Bob, who's right there. You can see him if you are watching this on camera, and and if you're listening to this, you're missing out on all the. Actually, you're missing out on seeing the covers of the comics. That's the only thing that's important. It's just our dumbasses wearing fucking headphones.
That's true.
Who gives a crap about
that said, yeah, there might be certain things that you might be doing, like data entry at work, or possibly walking around on your mail route.
Ooh.
That's a shout out to my friend John.
Nice. Man, there are so many days.
There are so many postmen that listen to us.
I can't tell you how, like, the number of times I've been like, I could just like work at UPS and have somebody else do my job here.
I'd do it.
It seems like it would be kind of a fun gig. I don't know.
No, I don't know. I ordered some put together like IKEA type furniture for some people this week, and the guy who had to bring it up to the fourth floor, and it's like we have an elevator, so it's not like it was like that much. He was like not happy. So I have a feeling that like it wasn't even that heavy of a thing. Like it can't be.
He chose to not use his dolly.
Right. Like
then he's a moron.
Well, I think he's a nice guy. But
then he's a nice guy.
He's not the nicest guy I ever met.
He's a nice guy who made a terrible error.
I'm just
judgment.
saying, I don't know how fun the gig is. I think you should work for the post office over UPS, because the one thing I do know about UPS is that they put a GPS tracker on you, and if you're stationary for any amount of time, you get like in trouble. And I don't know that the post office does that, so that would be the post office versus UPS for me from an outsider's perspective.
If anyone has any feedback on this, please let us know.
We could also consult that comic book, Pete the PO'd postal worker.
Fair.
Remember that one?
Or Reed Fleming, the
world's toughest. He's a milkman, though, not a mailman.
I mean, there are no milkmen, so I assume it's just a metaphor for being
world's toughest mailman.
Anyway,
yeah,
we're going to talk about comic books, and
also I apologize for cutting you off.
What? Jesus.
I did.
That's impressive, because I'm usually the one that cuts people off. So you got a word in edgewise. Congratulations. Anyway, yeah. What? There was something I wanted to say this week for some reason.
Something about the documentary that was filmed in your store yesterday?
I don't even know if I can talk about the documentary that was filmed, because there may be secret parts of that.
Secret parts.
But that's cool.
Anyway, how did the Blood Diner go?
Blood Diner was phenomenal.
Nice.
And thank you to everyone who went out. It was awesome.
I wanted to go, but I was very tired.
Dude, I understand. I would have been like, wow, that's fun. I can't wait to go. You know what? I'm staying home. So the fact that we nearly filled a 200-seat theater blows my goddamn
mind. That's awesome. Great.
Like, that theater did not look empty, and there were 200 seats in there. So I was like,
fuck yeah.
We won.
Nice.
That's absolutely amazing. And the fact that the Nick thought it was an amazing turnout, too.
That's cool.
And I don't know if I'm supposed to say these kinds of things, but I definitely snuck into the Taylor Swift movie while we were there. And there were 2 people in the Taylor Swift. So we beat Taylor Swift by, like, I think we were like 50 times as many people as Taylor Swift.
Damn. Now you just got to sell more records.
I mean, I assume that comes next.
Yeah. Definitely. It follows.
Yes. Taylor Swift in It Follows. Let's talk about comic books. Let's talk about Abbott 1979, for example.
I am into this new Abbott. I love the artist.
The original was amazing, too.
Yeah, it was. I've been into it from the beginning. But this particular new series is enjoyable and worth checking out.
I guess I didn't know that was Saladin Ahmed, or I guess I just didn't know Saladin Ahmed at the time that it started.
Yeah, maybe you didn't have the same context.
I didn't have context for him.
Excuse me.
Interesting, because that is... now that makes sense. That it's absolutely
sometimes
amazing.
You just like forget details too, though.
Constantly.
I mean, I do.
Like, to the point where I'm mildly concerned.
I know, right? I was actually talking to my friend about that just a few minutes ago. I was like, hey, there was a period of time like 2 months ago where I couldn't remember your name, and I was like talking to my friend, like,
oh yeah,
just like, and I'm like, is this a sign of something bad to come, or is it just
a thing that happens?
Blindness.
I mean, I know that somebody like I could probably forget your name at some point.
Yeah.
It would happen. It could happen.
Yep.
My brain is like that, and I don't mean like I could get Alzheimer's. I mean like right now at this moment, it could just vanish.
Yeah, totally. Same.
Ugh.
It makes me feel better that you have the same issue.
But I'm also very old, so
But we're very genetically different, so
that's true.
you know.
You're Irish in one way, and I'm Irish in a different way.
I'm actually not Irish.
How are
I'm not.
okay? So
I'm Scottish.
So I have black hair, and I'm Irish as fuck. I thought you were going to say you were German because
I am. Well, it's the thing is that my
Ulrich
this
sounds
is like
very.
no one wants to hear this. My great grandfather was adopted, so I have a German name, but I am
okay.
not particularly German. I am mostly Scottish and Swedish.
Oh, that makes sense. That explains why we can't ever get a white balance on here.
Because I'm the prism. I'm a human prism.
Okay. All-Star Comics number 3.
I love
the
it.
First Justice Society of America.
And the first team-up comic book in American comics. It's great. I was looking through this, and I was just like, I totally get why people thought this was a big deal. It's
Oh
so
my
cool.
God. Absolutely.
And especially like a lot of these comics, like these facsimiles, and it's like, oh, Speed Saunders, great. Oh, like, you know, even Slam Bradley, which is like kind of like now seems kind of cool. It's just like, some of these features are like so lame, but this one is just like front to back, like Dr. Midnight, Spectre, Dr. Fate, like all by the artists who draw them in their actual, so like, and some of them, like, for instance, Dr. Fate, for example, has a really good artist, Bernard Bailey, I believe. I don't know. It's cool. Like I totally get why that was a big deal when it came out.
Absolutely.
And why it's like why it changed the game.
Yeah. Totally. It is really phenomenal. I had no personal interest in seeing it, and then when I grabbed it, I was like, this is
cool.
Amazing.
It's
this is an
super cool.
amazing comic.
Yeah.
And it's also it's that era where being weird was just par for the course.
Yeah, totally.
And this is just like, I mean, this is almost on a Stardust the Super Wizard level of weirdness.
Yeah, definitely.
Like where it's just
especially some of the features, like Dr. Fate. Like there's like that one issue of Wanted that has a Dr. Fate reprint where he fights the fishmen of Njarl Alman, and it's like just so Lovecraftian and so weird, and it's like these ambulatory like men with like weird giant fish heads and like that kind of shit. It's just like baked in.
That.
It's fucking great.
Here is probably maybe my favorite comic of the week.
Is this Army of Darkness?
No, this is Amazing Spider-Man.
Oh yeah, it was good.
Holy crap! Who is the artist?
Isn't it Ed McGuinness?
Well, some of it is, but the stuff that's like the insane Spider-Verse cartoony, like almost Spirit-esque, like parts of it, it looks like it reminds me of the Spirit.
Emilio Liso.
Is that who's doing that? Like
that is the
beautiful interstitials.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God! I mean, like it just
cool.
Whoever this person is, like I think I might have a new favorite artist. Period. And also the fact that it's all rec rap.
I like rec rap.
I love rec rap. I love his weird little feet. Or giant feet. Like I just love everything about him. He's funny. He's silly. He has a great catchphrase. It's wangin' time.
It's a wangin' time.
Which, it's wangin' time.
Yeah, I actually didn't even notice that flipping through this the first time. It's just a few pages, but it's really cool. I like that artist. It's phenomenal,
and also
good
just
job.
like the rest of it is great too. It's funny. It reminds me of like when the X-Files would do their funny issue. This is rec rap telling stories.
Emilio Liso. Good job.
Good job, Emilio Liso. Fucking wow. 20 thumbs up.
Rec rap story time adventure starring me in a tale I call The Mystery of That Time I Got in a Fight with Kraken the Hunter a few weeks ago and something weird happened.
It's just perfect. It's just perfect.
Well played.
Well played, everyone involved.
Also, that variant cover by Carrie Andrews is totally great as well.
Oh, nice.
I like that one. That's not the one that you showed.
Oh, perfect. Good deal.
Should have showed it, but
I should have. I'm so sorry.
No, it's my fault. I picked the comics.
I have failed. Army of Darkness, forever and ever and never depart.
Significantly better than I would have expected. I didn't look at the first issue of this.
Yeah, I tend to ignore the Army of Darkness books because they've kind of been crappy, honestly.
This one looks pretty good.
And they were good there was a good chunk of time when they were fun, and then they just kind of started phoning it in, and I was like, I'm not really into this anymore.
I think that Dynamite is like in a cultural renaissance period.
I think they are too. I think they're doing really good work.
Is it Dynamite? I hope it's Dynamite.
It is Dynamite.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
This is a little character I like to call the Batman. And
sure.
You know what? I think it's pretty good.
Yeah. No, it's good. It's good. It's weird. I'm kind of like, okay, Joker. All right, but it's like I don't hate it, and you know, I'm into seeing where this storyline goes.
You know what I know you're into? I know
Birds
you're
of Prey.
into Birds of Prey.
I am super into it. There's a fun Green Arrow cameo in this, where he has to distract Wonder Woman because of things that are going on in the comic, and he has like basically like magic arrows, like, which is like pretty cool, like where they actually like have it just like it's not even trying to be science, it's just like this one's magic. It does magic shit.
Perfect. That's DC. I mean, going back to All-Star, it's like that's what DC does well.
Yeah,
is like
nonsense.
Exactly. Stop trying to make this like Marvel's thing was like, let's try and make this a pseudoscience, like a sci-fi story where we base it in real science, but like it's all techno-babble nonsense that couldn't happen.
Exactly. Like Iron Man's armor being powered by transistors.
Right, exactly. It's dumb, but it's
clearly Stanley has no idea what radios are made of.
And I believe he was a radio operator in the war. So
wow.
I think that's very strange. Let's see. Blue Beetle.
I really like this comic. I like it. It's fun.
Shockingly good.
Yeah, it's fun.
I mean, I guess it's not shockingly good because honestly, I loved the entire run of the old
right,
the Jaime Reyes version of this. I really liked it back when it first started.
I still got to see that movie.
Yeah, same. I'm actually really interested.
Yeah, nice.
But also, I have HBO, so I know I'm going to see it for free at some point. So.
Exactly. Well, for free.
Well,
you pay for it.
I pay for it by having a phone through AT&T.
Ooh,
yeah,
look at that.
I know.
Who's laughing now?
Not the investors who thought they could make money by investing in HBO or AT&T.
Investors. What's next?
Captain Ginger, the Last Feeder.
You know, anything that gives June Brigman a regular gig, I'm 100% down for.
And anything from Ahoy, is going to be good.
I thought you weren't doing Ahoy as much.
I'm not doing Ahoy as much because it doesn't sell.
Yeah.
It has been forever the sadness of my existence that Ahoy comics are too smart for everybody. But if it's got a cat in it, somebody will buy it.
Somebody will buy it because it's got a cat. Nice. Captain Ginger. Get it.
Captain. I really liked the first Captain Ginger. Like that.
I remember.
That run.
I actually remember
really
you liking it.
Yeah. So Captain Marvel: Dark Tempest. I don't know what's going on.
Sure.
But hey, look at that! It's that guy from that movie who's doing that thing.
The polka dot man from Suicide Squad.
It's the polka dot man, and he's making a comic book, and it's called Count Crowley: Mediocre Midnight Monster Hunter.
I think it's a good comic.
Yeah,
It's fun.
I have so far enjoyed every iteration of Count Crowley.
Right.
I believe this is the fourth or third or fourth.
It's at least the third.
It's at least the third. There was Midnight Monster Hunter, Reluctant Monster Hunter, and this one, I guess.
Yeah,
so
that makes sense.
I guess this is the third.
I remember at least two.
But yeah, it's been fun, and it's clearly a passion project. I mean, he's a huge monster movie fan. He's just he's doing what he loves.
Yeah.
Normally, I mean, my soapbox lately has been that the death of comics is going to be celebrities getting involved in comic books.
Yeah,
so
I don't know.
He is a different story. But man, if you saw the solicits that I'm seeing, it's everywhere, dude. It's everywhere.
To me, there's a line of demarcation somewhere between like Andy Samberg and like the guy who played Polka Dot Man in Suicide Squad, or like Brian Posehn from Mr. Show or whatever.
Sure.
You know, like there's
Sure.
no
I mean,
like
Patton
there's
Oswalt and Brian Posehn doing comics. It's fine. I mean, but it is.
That said, I will never forgive Brian Posehn for bringing Jerry Duggan into comic books.
But it's also like when you look at all this stuff, even if you dig a little deeper, the number of writers who are active, who are also members of the Writers Guild.
That's what I was gonna say. I wonder how much of that is just like these guys that are like working regularly all of a sudden had like a crazy work stoppage. So why not write comics?
I mean, sure, yeah, there is that too. And I mean, I wonder how many people who who knew that they had a crazy work stoppage, and then said, "Yeah, sure, I'll do a talk show." And then they get on a talk show, and then they're like, "Oh fuck, I want to go back to work." But whatever. That's Jennifer. What's her name?
Okay,
from Cats.
I assumed
that's what I was thinking of.
I assumed it had to be some kind of a specific reference that I didn't get.
Anyway, she's a great singer. Whatever.
Wait, Jennifer Hudson.
Jennifer Hudson.
Oh, okay.
She's now doing her own talk show, and I'm like, I feel like that was a move that you made because you thought that you couldn't make movies anymore, and now you're like, oh fuck, I could be back in movies.
I could be doing Cats too.
I could be doing Cats too.
I just snorted.
Any
That's
talk
a
of
first.
Any talk of Cats will bring that about. Creep Show number 3.
It's good. Zoe Thorogood, and who was the second artist on it? Was someone good
Joel
as well?
Farrelly, Goran
Parlov.
Sudzuka.
Yeah.
Sudzuka,
Old Punisher artist. I know.
Oh
that
yeah,
from Punisher.
yeah. I actually do know that name.
Goran Sudzuka.
I remember that because
Good
I
artist.
remember Goran because I always assumed that he was some sort of alien. I was like, oh my god, Goran.
Yeah. Creepshow is fun.
Save us from Goran. Damn Them All is out as well.
Right.
Dark Ride, the super sexy version with that lady who draws the sexy covers.
Ooh la la.
She did.
I just grabbed the one from the top.
What was that sexy book she did?
I don't know what you're looking at.
She did the one with the pig masks and the.
Oh
sexy,
wait,
like,
Mirka Andolfo?
No, the other one. No,
Pig masks?
It was the like BDSM comic that involved like a red room where she would murder people, but there was lots of sexy stuff before she murdered them.
It's lost from my memory.
I can't remember what it's called.
When you say sexy pig comic, I think Mirka Andolfo.
If you're gonna read one sexy pig comic, I recommend
that weird sexy pig
Unnatural,
comic.
the
Oh yeah.
sexy pig comic.
What's next?
But that made sense because she was doing it with a wolf. You get it? Because big bad wolf and the pig, and it was.
Yes.
That's why it's so unnatural.
It was so unnatural to do for a
sense.
pig to fuck a wolf.
I mean, yes. Some might say disgusting.
I mean, I might say that if you're not a pig, anything that fucks you is unnatural. I don't know. Gonna go out on a limb.
What if it's life that fucks you, man? Like it's fucking all of us.
Hot take. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, that's natural. All right.
Dark Spaces Hollywood special.
Oh, I like this. This is the only of these Snot Skider. Oh man, I should definitely not go to the bar in between reading all the comics.
I should definitely make sure that we tell Snot Skider what we think of him.
I actually really like this comic. It's very cool. It's the only comic about classic Hollywood and weird mine ghosts that I would ever have enjoyed this week.
Sure. Dead Lucky.
That's a spin-off of the comic that is popular, Radiant Black.
Radiant Pink. Radiant Black.
Radiant Black.
Radiant
Mr. Black.
Destiny's Gate number 2. This continues to be one of my favorite things that Dabari has done for a while.
Cool.
I really love it. This is our friend Christian Dabari, and also our friend Simon Gao, who you may remember from a little comic called Rad Wraith. It's great. I really enjoy it. It's really stretching his skills in an interesting way, like doing things that honestly I didn't think that he could do. This is like it doesn't play to his strengths in a lot of ways. Like
if he's listening, he's like, "Why didn't you believe in me?"
And I know exactly. Well, no, I mean because he has always done very straight monster stuff, and it's been very focused in like one direction. I guess I did know because when he did Rad Wraith, when I thought of him as a horror artist, I just kept seeing the horror images that he did, and then he would do the touching stuff with the kids, and it was like, oh, look at how cute that is. Like he draws a child in a way that you're like, that is a playful version of this. Like it's an adorable scene.
So what you're saying is he's
kids.
capable of doing a lot, but he doesn't always get the opportunity to stretch his wings.
Oh fuck, I have a fucking Sean Murphy quote about him that he's a Lamborghini that's being driven like a Honda is what Sean said about Dabari. He's like basically that he is so good. He has such an ability to do all of this stuff, and the amount that the things that he gets tasked to do, it's like it narrows him into such a small focus that people think that that's all he does. And Sean has always been like worried that Christian's typecasting himself as this one thing when he can do so much more. He has so much breadth of skill, and that was always something that he was like. Sean was just like, dude, why are you doing X, Y, or Z? And one of the things that he said why was to Rad Wraith. He was like, why? You're typecasting yourself. You know, this is the kind of stuff that everybody thinks you do. You know, do something crazier. Which, by the way, there is a thing that I think that we're going to be doing together that is going to be way different than anything. It is also something with Mr. Sean Murphy.
Ooh.
Mr. Sean Murphy and Mr. Christian Dabari. So
wowzer.
Maybe that might happen within the next 25 years if we ever get around to it. But Dabari, if you follow his Instagram, you'll see the character because he did actually draw the character for something.
Cool.
So that made me really excited to see that he still is thinking about it. And I still am thinking about it too. It is in the front of my mind, and I keep honing the pitch every day, and I'm going to submit it to Dark Horse the second Dabari says he has 3 seconds to rub together. Anyway, here are those Detective Comics that we didn't get that week because
2 weeks ago.
Lunar hates
something.
us. Yeah, 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
But there it is.
So if you didn't get it, now you can.
There is Fire and Ice.
I like this comic.
It's
actually one of my
good.
favorite DC comics right now. I think it's really good.
I would say weirdly good, maybe even, but it is just it's.
Yeah, I wouldn't expect it to be as good
Right.
as it is, but it's really fun, and it's weird actually. Like some of the things that kind of like. So this morning, like I usually have time to read like one comic before I leave for work. And this morning, I chose to read the first appearance of Ambush Bug from DC Comics Presents 52, which is it's odd in that this comic also has Ambush Bug and also has Jimmy Olsen. And I was like, it's interesting. Like, that's weird that Jimmy Olsen or that Ambush Bug is like a Superman character if you think about him in that way. Like he was always in Superman comics, like initially. And then
I guess I never thought about that.
Yeah, but he really is. And in that first appearance, I was like, oh, it's Ambush Bug and Jimmy Olsen in one comic. I was like, they should do that again. And then like I get here and there's that comic and it's literally there
it is.
They're both in the comic. It's just a funny coincidence.
Now, who would have expected Garbage Pail Kids to trash through time? Not me.
I wouldn't have. I mean, I would have expected it, but I couldn't know it happened because this comic book is sealed in a plastic bag.
Oh, it sure is.
I wasn't able to look at it.
Well, it looks really good. The cover is amazing, and I love the fact that they're finally doing trading cards with the issues.
Yeah, it's smart.
I would say it's smart, but it's almost like too obviously like you should have been doing this the whole time.
Yeah, they probably should have.
But I also would imagine that they tried to and were having a hard time negotiating it with Topps, because you will notice that the cards are a weird size, so they probably had to choose to make them just slightly wider than a Garbage Pail Kids card so that they wouldn't be part of the series. Sergio Aragonés grew in the wild, and number 4 of 4. That is the complete thing, the complete package. We got Guardians of the Galaxy number 8 out this week. We've got the House of the Slaughter. Every time I look at it, I think a House of the Gucci.
Portland House of Slaughter.
Portland House of Slaughter. How can I take your order? How about Hunt for the Skinwalker?
It's pretty good.
It is pretty good.
It's pretty good.
I mean,
as far as the comics go, it's pretty good.
I think it's better than I thought it was after reading the first issue. How about that? Joker, the man who stopped laughing.
He still is laughing though.
Oh, sorry, I guess we got the wrong comic then. Love and Rockets. Somebody stealing my T-shirt.
Yeah, it's Gilbert Hernandez.
Hey, Gilbert Hernandez.
I mean, that said, he didn't specifically steal it.
It's not at all. I was just like, hey, dude, just draw Bill's fucking design. Come on, man. Whatever.
Yeah.
Marvel Gods. Gods, please. It's not Gods. Did we ever figure out what the fuck Gods stood for?
Good old
dinosaur
semen. Yes, that's dinosaur stuff.
Good old dinosaur stuff.
You know
what? I would probably like this book a lot more
if it was about good old dinosaur stuff. I would too.
Okay, so I take it back because I had said my favorite book of the week was Amazing Spider-Man. It's pretty close, but I'm gonna say here it is. Did this book make me cry? Why, yes, in fact, it did.
Did it?
Marvel Unleashed killed me.
Yeah, Kyle Starks.
So good.
Kyle Starks knows how to write a fucking heart-wrenching comic. Yeah.
Oh, he sure does. It was brutal. And also, like, not only did it, like, was it like the touching kind of crying, there was also a, like, vengeance cry in this. Oh, my God. Such a good moment.
Yeah.
There's a great moment with a character that I don't give two shits about.
Well, yeah, there's a character that only exists in this comic book and exists for this specific moment. So it's very smart storytelling.
There's, exactly. You don't have to worry about ever seeing this dumb character that is part of a dumb family of characters ever again.
Nah.
That's not true.
It was good. It was good. I'm not a huge fan of this in general. Like, I don't know. I just don't like the coloring. I found it hard to follow the action of the story.
Really? Oh,
but that said, the art is good, and the moment you're referring to is heartwarming.
It's heartwarming. It's a vengeful murder moment, but it's also
it's not heartwarming. It's like there's a heartwarming moment within.
Oh.
But the moment is kind of, I don't know, whatever. Just get the comic.
Basically, there is for the first time, I think, in the history of anyone writing anything, there is a death of a dog in this issue. Sorry to spoil it. A dog dies.
Mm-hmm.
And it is not only not really sad, it is awesome.
Yeah.
And, like, because of the way that it's handled.
Yeah, I mean, Kyle Starks. Kyle Starks, good writer.
Brilliant. Mech Cadets exist.
That's a reprint of that because it came out as a cartoon.
Yes.
Yeah.
Not a cartoon like the old,
like the cartoons.
60s.
You know who was
comics about cars?
They're I don't know if they're 60s.
70s?
70s, 80s.
Really?
Yeah, you know who worked for cartoons a lot? The woman who designed the Circle Jerks logo was a huge contributor to cartoons. Sean something. Sean
something. Yes.
Died unknown and penniless, addicted to drugs. It's a sad story, but
it is a really sad
amazing
story.
Cartoonist.
She was an amazing cartoonist. She did a bunch of stuff for Hustler too.
Yeah.
And the stuff that she did for Hustler was like tended to not be like super sexual. Some of it was kind of sexual, but like a bunch of it was like, one of the things that she did that was amazing was a G.I. Joe parody that she did continuously. And it was like kind of just a goofy Mad Magazine style thing that just as easily could have been in Mad Magazine as being anywhere else. So I don't know. Yeah. I love her.
Yeah.
That is
very
a terrible, terrible tragedy. And I think I speak for everyone when I say that she should be referenced a lot more when you see the fucking Circle Jerks logo.
You definitely speak for me because I think it's shitty that they don't.
I agree. I love the Circle Jerks, and but I mean they've all got their own issues to deal with in that
Sure.
band.
It's true.
I don't know if you were around for the time when they tried to tour prior to this tour when they finally figured out their shit. But the last tour, every single show broke up with Keith and the fucking drummer getting into a fist fight. So 60-year-old crazy people fighting each other on stage. What the fuck, man? What is going on?
Yeah.
What are you doing with your life?
Get it together.
My Little Pony, these are classics reimagined. It's like The Wizard of Oz, so it's just like watching Scooby-Doo in the 80s. It's always going to do some sort of fucking Wizard of Oz parody, because it's public domain for the most part. Punya, The Mummy's Curse. Uh-oh, it's a mummy curse. All right, here's another contender for Book of the Week.
This was definitely a contender for me. I really liked this.
Yeah.
I liked it a lot.
Petrolhead. It is. It's basically the book that you expect it to be. It's a punk rock Mad Maxy robot-y 2000 AD.
Yeah, it's like rebel robots.
Yeah.
But it's cool. Like it's like he's not really a transformer, but like it's like there's bad robots and good robots, and then there's like a human heart beating within. Like a character and her father, and the art is really cool. The coloring is very cool.
Very cool.
The more time, like this is on glossy paper, and you know how I feel about glossy paper, whatever. But like, the more time goes on, the more I realize that like the coloring is what breaks this shit. And it's like a lot of the like, I was looking at a Marvel Unlimited scan.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a comic that I've seen as a regular print comic, and I was like, not interested. Like I saw it on the stand, I was like, not interested. And then I saw the art digitally, and I was like, this is really cool. Why didn't I like this when it came out? And I don't know what it is, but I think that like some comics are really colored for digital over print.
I agree.
And I think there's a difference, but like this comic is masterfully, like I think the coloring of this comic is really like the star of the show in a lot of ways. Like it like puts it over the top, where this could just be like sort of like a Death's Head style, like Transformers style kind of boilerplate. You know, it's not really breaking any new ground, but like there's just something about it. And I think really it's the coloring. It just like puts it over the top. And I really enjoyed it.
It is some really intense coloring, some really like
it's clear, and it aids the story, like
bold choices. Yeah,
you know, people that understand like what that, you know, like I don't know, it's just like how the eye perceives things. Like it's really important.
Absolutely agree, 100%. And again, shout out to Simon Gao for his fucking coloring. He's still one of my favorite colorists.
Yeah.
Phantom
Wait,
Road.
is that who did the color?
No, not
just
for
like
this,
in
but
general.
for that last, for the one that Dabari did. He and Dabari do a lot of stuff together, and he's really good, and he's got a big thing coming up soon. So looking forward to seeing that. Phantom Road. You're seeing the Walking Dead parody cover.
Oh, it was the one on top.
That's fine.
That's cool.
It's a great book.
Yeah.
Poison Ivy. Number 16. Better Off Dead. That's not true.
Nah.
Oh, Poison Ivy. You've got so much to live for. You've got your poisoning. You've got the fact that you're made of ivy mostly. People can see your butt like all the time. That's great stuff.
That's a thing to live for.
Yeah. I mean, like, most of us aren't allowed to just show our asses all the time. You can really show your contempt for society by showing your ass all times.
The one thing she has, no, I don't know.
What I like about this is that I said that about her, and in this, she looks like she's clearly wearing some sort of like sweatpants.
What?
Like really floopy sweatpants in this cover. Like that is very un-Poison Ivy. Usually you can see her whole ass.
Yeah.
Let's see. Okay. So
is it drawn by a woman?
They were like, "Fuck you! We're putting pants on Poison Ivy for the
pants.
first time."
She's wearing a tracksuit.
You say that, but a lot of like the most like over the top, hypersexualized Poison Ivy covers are drawn by women. I mean, and also that dude who does
Frank Cho.
Frank Cho's not the worst of them, believe it or not. I think the worst of them is that Japanese guy whose name eludes me.
Oh, I know who you mean.
Yeah.
DNA.
Something like that.
It's like
one of those guys. This whatever.
It doesn't matter. We don't need to shame people for drawing poison ivy ass. You let your poison ivy ass flag fly.
She's not a real person. If you like seeing it, fuck, none of my business. Anyway, Punisher #1 is out. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was that bad. I think it's all right. I think it's all right. It's way better than I expected it would have been.
Way better. I was surprised. I liked it. I would say, I would go as far as to say I liked it quite a bit. And I am interested in this treatment of the character. I think they have figured out a few things that are interesting to change the character. This is not Frank Castle anymore. We're not dealing with Frank Castle. Frank has seen the error of his ways. His wife basically said, "What the fuck are you doing? I wouldn't want you to kill people for me. That's gross. I'm not into that. I'm not a murderer, and you're a scumbag."
Yeah.
And so he went, "Oh fuck," and threw down his guns, and we have no idea what has happened to Frank Castle.
No, unless we have in Weird World protecting children.
Hey, only if you've seen that solicit.
I mean, it was in a comic that came out like 4 months ago.
That's a good point. But yes, he is in Weird World right now.
Yeah. Oops, sorry.
And this is, we still don't really know who this new person is. He's a SHIELD agent of some sort.
Yeah, so in the current Marvel Universe, SHIELD has been shut down.
Disbanded.
And this guy is a SHIELD guy, and he has access to SHIELD safe houses, and he has his own kind of new person filling the role of Microchip, and he is taking down the bad guys. It's still a murder thing. It's still a, like, I'm killing you Punisher. It's not a, like,
they have not changed that.
But he's not using like AR-14s. Yes, like he's using like Nick Fury guns.
Sci-fi weaponry, which I think is an important distinction, and I think it's an important change.
Yeah. And also he doesn't use that shitty logo that has been co-opted by racist cops.
Exactly. And it's a weird version of it.
Yeah.
It goes back to the original version of the character's logo, which I think is an interesting choice. It looks less goofy than the original version, but
the only thing that
the teeth are still like basically bullets.
Right. The thing I think is kind of dumb about it is that it glows. It's like Batman, like saying like, I'm going to put yellow around the bat so that you shoot me in my bulletproof armor chest. It's like, I guess. It just seems like, why? Like, if you're a guy who people are definitely going to shoot at, like, putting a glowing target on your chest is probably dumb. But, because it's like, if you look at him once, you know where his head is. And his head doesn't have any armor on it.
Yes, it is
but,
true.
like, other than that, it was kind of fine. Like, I'm not going to lie. I definitely bought it for speculation purposes.
Yeah.
Like, I enjoyed it enough, but, like, I doubt I'll buy #2.
I definitely
we'll see.
see
Maybe it'll go in some direction where I'm like, oh, that's cool, and I don't expect it. But like, I was like, maybe I can sell this for $10 someday. Who knows?
I basically do agree with you on that. I would definitely see this as being a speculator book, because it is, depending on who it turns out to be, regardless of whatever happens, this is going to be his first superhero venture, probably. And if that is the case, then they're going to rename him when Frank Castle comes back.
Yeah.
And he's going to be a new character that they use for something else.
Yeah.
Like, his profile has been raised considerably by being here. They're not going to just kill him off.
And they might use him in some kind of Marvel cinematic property, and therefore people will pay like $500 for it or whatever. I don't know. That's the hope. That's the dream.
That's one of them.
I don't know. It was, that said, like, I hate being a speculator, and I as much as I definitely am in this case, I wouldn't have bought it if I didn't think it was enjoyable on some level, like that I might read it again.
Speaking of things that I might read again, heyo, Lots of dudes doing it in this one. Okay, it's just same two dudes.
Yeah, it's the same two dudes. This is less sexy than the first issue, though. Like, there's plenty of it, but not as much as in the first one.
Yes. It's if that's what you're in for, we definitely had some people coming in looking to find out when they skipped the date because it was supposed to come out last week. It was announced as last week. We had people being like, "Hey, you getting that Sainted Love in? I like sci-fi. It's a very good fiction." No, none of them said that. They were like, "You got that fucking book with the two dudes that fuck?"
Book with the sci-fi book where the two dudes fuck constantly?
Nobody was being subtle about it.
No. I mean, why would you?
Yeah, exactly.
It's not a subtle book.
Yeah, old school gay dudes from Portland are not exactly like gonna pretend that they want something else. That's one of the things I love about Portland. Okay, Santos Sisters Halloween special. I love it.
Yeah, it's good.
And full disclosure, I don't want to say anything negative about anything. I wasn't really a fan of this series. Like it's not really it's not generally my thing. Or at least the first thing, because I don't like Archie comics. And this is a play on Archie comics, and it's not like an Archie comic, but it is definitely playing in that world.
The art style is definitely like trying to do that, and the trade dress or whatever. Honestly, for me, this was the least enjoyable, and this is like literally one of my favorite comic books
for me.
This was the like there are
this
good
was the one that I like.
Stories within it, but there are whole stories within it that are just like I don't follow Mercy Sparks or Hack Slash or whatever. Like, I think it's cool that like Santos Sisters got to the level where like some of these bigger indie properties are part of it. I love the Gut Ghost.
Yep.
And I do really love some stories. Like one of the stories in here is a reprint from a previous issue of Santos Sisters. But I genuinely like the thing for me that didn't go over the top on this one that has worked in every previous issue is that they have all been really funny, and this one was not as funny. The thing that's funny is how the Santos sisters interact with each other and their attitude and like the way they just the dialogue. Like I really think it's genuinely funny, and there was less of that in this one, but it's a Halloween special, so it's doing Halloween special things.
Yes.
So I don't fault it.
Obviously, that is part of what I love about it, is the fact that it's full of Halloween tropes.
Yeah.
But I also love the fact that Gut Ghost is in it from our friend Enzo Garza, and like, it's super cool, you know.
Totally. Also, I love that the duck. What's his name? There's like a weird duck character in it that I really like.
I can't remember the name, but you know, there's Hack Slash, which I very much enjoy. Hack Slash as well. That has been a series that I've enjoyed. I'm not up to date with it, so I don't really know what's going on, but I really liked the books. And
Junior Duck,
Junior Duck, and this is just super fun. And just seeing Gut Ghost in it, just made me really happy. And also made me wonder how he got out of his scout contract. Anyway, Scorched is a comic book.
Yes.
And Shazam is a comic book.
I liked Shazam.
Listen, I think Shazam is a phenomenal book, and I don't say anything about it anymore because nobody buys it.
I buy
it. I mean... Sorry, that is a metaphorical nobody. It sells like 4 copies. You know,
it's a bummer.
It is a bummer. It's a total bummer.
You know why it doesn't sell as much? It's because it doesn't have as much talkie-tawny as it should have.
I think you're right. It's the kind of book that I would have been all over when I was collecting. Like, I would have been so excited for this to come out every time. It has that feeling of just a fun book that has all of the superhero trope stuff, but it doesn't ever lose sight of the fact that it's a comic book, and it's fun to be in a comic book.
I think some of these books that are like relaunches of previously running series that have struggled, I think that they have some hurdles that they need to cross in their first storylines. And I think what I would have done with this is like the first storyline should have been shorter, because you're like 5 issues in and you're just at the end of it, and it kind of like it drug on a little bit too long.
I could see
so we'll see. I wouldn't be surprised if sales didn't pick up a little bit once they get past this first storyline, but we'll see where they go with it.
Unfortunately, that would be unusual for something to pick up in the middle of a series, but it's solid. It's a really solid book. And Sonic the Hedgehog is a comic book that comes out with a hedgehog. Star Signs is a comic that probably has a hedgehog somewhere in the background, like
at least one.
The way that Todd Browning would always put like a weird hedgehog and stuff,
or like how Todd McFarlane would always put Felix the Cat in his comics.
Yes, he was a very Todd Browning type, I guess, as it turns out. Man, when's the last time you watched Dracula?
Which Dracula?
The original.
I have not seen it in quite a while.
Man, that's so weird. I love how weird Todd Browning is. He is the weirdest director, and he always puts weird animals and stuff. And the one part, I've seen Dracula probably 50 times, and I don't think there's a single time I've watched the movie that I haven't been shocked when the little bee gets out of the little coffin, and I'm like, oh yeah, there's a bee that lives in a tiny bee coffin, and there's no fucking reason for it. No explanation. A tiny little coffin, tiny little bee.
Aw.
There it is.
Is it a vampire bee?
I guess. I assume so.
That's cool. That makes me want to watch it. I've been listening to this
it's so good.
Exhaustively long podcast about that thing with the names we were talking about. Luton, Val Luton.
Oh, fucking A.
There's
love
like
Val
a
Luton.
insanely long podcast series about him that is apparently going to be
watched Cat People again too. So.
I want to watch all of his films, starting with Cat People and going all the way through. Like the story of Ghost Ship is like insane.
I have the complete Val Luton collection.
Oh, on DVD you do?
Yeah.
Oh, I might want to borrow those from you.
My wife has them, so maybe I don't have them.
Well, I might ask if I could borrow them because I really want to watch them. If they're not streaming, I'm gonna check. But
I think it's hard to get that stuff. Like some of the
it's like $70.
ones.
I looked for it. Like the collection, and it's like $70.
Jaguar Woman and like all that
Leopard
weird shit.
Man.
Leopard Man.
Leopard Man is one. But I love the idea of like how those like they were like you can only spend $150,000. Your movie has to be 75 minutes long, and we choose the titles. And he still made the craziest, most interesting, like cat people. And it's like, it's not about cat people.
It's bonkerdoos.
It's about other stuff. Like it's just like I don't know. It's just I want to see all of them.
Was Val Luton the one that did the first Island of Dr. Moreau, Isle of the Dead, or what are they called? That one.
Well, he did production work before he went to RKO. It's not one of his RKO movies, at least that I've.
Okay.
I've only gotten up to. I just got past the part where they talked about Ghost Ship.
It wouldn't even have been the first one. It would have been like the second version. The first version had Bela Lugosi in it as the reader of the law.
I'm going to say I don't think it was him.
Okay. Because that movie is so nutso. I love it so much. And it literally stars a woman whose name is like the Jaguar Woman.
Oh, wow.
You think it's the character name, and it's like, oh, no. She's a Mexican actress who went by the name, like she was like a wrestler. And so she went by like Jaguara or something. And that's like her actual name in the credits. And I think she's in a Val Luton movie of something else. Like she might be maybe Cat People, maybe one of the other ones.
I Walked with a Zombie is the one that has Simone. And there's another one where the actress only has one name. It's like Barbara or something. Yeah. It's just like, but it's like just the one name. Can't remember what it is, but she's one of the actresses in Leopard Woman.
Oh man, I need to go through that whole set again.
Yeah, for sure.
We tried to do every Universal movie. We tried to start at the beginning and watch all of the Universal movies in a row, and we didn't make it all the way through.
But I think that's.
I didn't get to Dracula's Daughters.
I bet if you watched all of the RKO movies, the Val Luton RKO, I bet you'd make it through all of them.
Well, because there's drastically less of them.
But also like they're just different. Like in the characters in those ones are like they have professions and like you care about them, and like the black people aren't
That's
just
true.
like domestic servants,
Yeah,
and like the stories are like treated differently, and like I love the concept of the bus. That's my favorite aspect of it. In every Val Lewton movie, there's a bus.
Okay.
And it starts from the first one that he made, which was Cat People. At the very beginning, there's like she's like walking down the street, and then this bus goes by, and it's like this jump scare. It's the bus. And so he has a bus in every one, and sometimes it's a train, and sometimes it's a different sound.
I love
but
it.
it's like that's what he calls the jump scare. It's the bus.
The bus.
And I think it's fucking awesome.
That is really cool.
Yeah.
What is this
Anyway.
podcast?
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry, we're talking about wrong stuff.
No. But I mean,
Oh,
what? No,
oh, it's called Shadows, I think.
I will definitely check that out because I'm.
It's really long. Like there's one where it's like they're talking about the movie, but like for an hour they talk about these two 1700s serial killers.
Oh God! I
Like-
mean, that would be like listening to a podcast where they start talking about Val Lewton movies for 10 minutes. That would be crazy. Imagine
Yeah.
instead of talking about something important like Picard's Star Trek Academy.
Secret History of Hollywood, it's called.
Oh, nice! I'm on it.
Yeah, and apparently they're making a movie of the Val Lewton story that's
Oh,
based
that's
on the
awesome.
podcast.
I can't wait.
Yeah.
Star Trek Defiant. I defy you to find more Star Trek in one comic.
I defy you to make me stop talking about cat people.
Are they putting out the fire?
What?
It's that shitty song that David Bowie recorded for
The other cat people.
for the modern Cat People that had Malcolm McDowell in it.
Yeah.
Cat People putting out the fire. What the hell does that mean, David Bowie? That was his cocaine years. He doesn't need to make sense.
I keep thinking about the Calypso song from I Walked with a Zombie too. A shame and sorrow on the family.
I keep thinking of
Whoa.
the Roky Erickson
Oh,
song.
me.
I Walked with a Zombie.
Yeah, it's that. Yeah, totally.
Walked with a zombie.
That's a good one.
Star Wars: The High Republic. It's another number one of a High Republic. Star Wars: The High Republic: The Shadows of Starlight. It's a Starlight Shadow comic book about Star Wars and shadows. Hey, we got Superman 78. The Metal Curtain.
Wish that the first Superman 78
Yeah.
was as good as this Superman 78. This entire comic is very smartly focusing on Lois Lane. So it's like a Margot Kidder Lois Lane comic.
Yep.
And it's really good.
I wish that whoever did the cover for this had not let his 6-year-old child draw the face on Superman.
It's the artist of the actual series itself.
Look at how little his... Oh, my God. It looks like a child drew that face. The rest of it's great.
I like it.
I'm not sure you do. You're lying.
No, I do. I like it.
This is the road to 150 for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. How are they going to get there? What kind of road are they taking? What kind of conveyance are they in? Are they on bicycles? Who knows? You have to read it to find out.
It's a bumpy road.
What happens if they fight a street fighter in the street? They fight. They bite. They fight and bite and bite.
Fight.
Hey, guess what? The comic that kept IDW from going into bankruptcy is back with a 4,000th printing.
It's the November 2023 edition.
First printing of Last Ronin for this year is what they call it, which is maybe the most hilarious thing ever.
Yeah,
And
I do
it's
love.
too big, so it's going to overhang. So I'm going to.
I love that the indicia is literally like Last Ronin, November 2023, first printing.
First printing. Yes. Sure it is. All right. I'm going to tuck that over there. The Enfield Gang Massacre number 4 is out. This
I love
is
it.
from That Texas Blood. It is a spinoff.
Yeah, I love it. It's
And
good.
you love it.
I love it.
I didn't read this comic. Crap.
What
Why
is
didn't I read this?
Comic crap?
Thanos.
Oh, I didn't read Thanos as well.
I don't know. He's like mad about being a Titan or something.
I was reading that Star Blast comic that I bought from you a couple, where it's like Herb Trimpe doing Rob Liefeld, and there's like a panel in it that's
I
so
saved
funny.
you a number 1.
Oh, I have number 1.
Oh,
I need
okay.
number 2.
Oh, I might have one of those.
I got number 1 and number 3.
Okay.
But any Star Blast that you want to save me, I'm fine. If I have it, I'll let you know. But there's a panel in it where they're like, Thanos again, and it's like from '92, and I just love how much more times they've used Thanos like since then.
Imagine if they found out how many times Kraven the Hunter has been in
Oh
something.
my god!
What if Dark Tomb of Dracula? Like,
What
just
Someone needs to tell Marv Wolfman that is not 4 panels worth of dialogue.
that is maybe the funniest thing that I've ever seen in a comic book.
It is really weird.
It is super weird. I'm just gonna hold it up on my camera.
Do it.
But there he is. There's so much in this. It is bonkers.
That's how out of breath you get when you kill Dracula.
yeah. Spoiler alert.
Let's just
but
say,
it's
let's say that he does kill Dracula. Let's say that that's what he might say after he did
yeah,
it.
that might be it. What if?
Possible spoilers.
What if? More
It's so
per-
funny.
That is so fucking funny. Transformers #2.
It's good.
It is good.
Go figure. It's good. It's the second comic about robots that's good.
Yeah. What about Uncanny Spider-Man?
This is more of a you comic.
It is a me comic. I love it.
Yeah.
I enjoy this book all the times.
Nice.
And what about Vampirella Rage Dracula?
I think it's probably better than I expect it is, but I don't really know.
I mean, it's written by fucking Christopher Priest.
yeah, and the art's not bad.
I mean, Jesus, Christopher Priest, he wrote The Prestige. He's got to be good.
Damn.
No, he didn't. It's a different Christopher Priest. That's a
Wait, there's more than one Christopher Priest?
there's a British Christopher Priest who wrote The Prestige. He's a
Wow.
fancy literary writer. And he is not the same Christopher Priest who writes Vampirella comics.
Well, the Christopher Priest who writes Vampirella comics is James Owsley.
You mean the Owl?
No, there's a comic book writer and editor at Marvel in the 80s named James Owsley, and he changed his name to Christopher Priest.
Huh.
He wrote a Green Lantern special. He wrote the Captain Marvel that Mark Bright did the art for, one shot. But he just, like, at some point, he stopped being James Owsley and he became Christopher Priest.
I mean, it's a good name.
Yeah. I mean, James Owsley isn't the worst name, but
It's not, but people will mistake you for Spider-Man villain, the Owl.
it's true.
It's just gonna happen. I don't know. I always liked Christopher Priest. I mean, if I saw his name,
I liked James Owsley.
right.
I've
but
liked him always.
if I saw his name on a Black Panther book, I would know it was a good Black Panther book.
Yeah.
Like when he was writing Black Panther, it was a solid. He was like the writer for Black Panther.
Sure. His
For me.
Superman Lost series that's currently running is very good.
Oh, that's him?
Yeah.
No shit.
Indeed.
That is like the only Superman comic people care about, and people love it.
It's good.
People love that book. Like
It's
we sell
really good.
so much more of that than any other Superman title
Weird.
we've ever sold.
Because actually, a lot of the Superman titles are actually really good right now.
That's the one, but that's the one people care about.
Huh.
Maybe it's because they care about Christopher Priest.
Also, maybe it's because it has like internal continuity that isn't reliant on other things happening around it.
Might be it.
Anyway, what's next?
There's a woman of wonder, a wonderful woman, if you will.
Speaking of greatest names in comics, Harry G. Peter.
Harry G. Peter.
This is great. It's like front to back, Golden Age Wonder Woman.
This is so solid.
It's
I love
rock
this.
solid.
I'm
It's
taking taking a copy of this home because I
Nice.
want to read this cover to cover.
Yeah.
It's
You'll enjoy it.
yet again, it's so goddamn weird.
Yeah.
It's so weird. It is written by a freaking alien. Like this is not. No human can write this. It is too weird.
My favorite thing is when people are like, I don't know, comic books these days, woke comic books, they have an agenda. And I'm like, have you ever read a Wonder Woman comic from 1942 through 1952? Like 10 solid years. It's like 100% woke agenda
Well, I
comic
mean,
books.
that's-
But like,
That's such a just disregarding the history of everything in comics.
I know.
Every single
I know.
comic has had an agenda and generally has been a very liberal leaning agenda to talk about social issues.
yeah, it's true.
That is like
It's true.
almost every comic.
I'm just saying that like Wonder Woman is like talking about like same-sex relationships,
Yes.
bondage, sexual freedom and liberation, equality, like just like it's so much more on the nose
Starting in
than
the
like
30s.
Yeah. Well, no, Wonder Woman's 40s.
Wonder Woman was 40s?
40s, like 41.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
You know what's crazy is my mom was born in 1936. So in 1941, when Wonder Woman came out, my mom would have been 5. And when my mom was 5, she used to read Wonder Woman comics. Imagine if she still had them.
Oh, man.
They just threw them out like garbage.
You would not have had any college debt.
Nope.
Oh, boy. But yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah,
it's good.
I would say highest recommendation to pick up. If you're going to pick up any DC facsimile, this is like, for me, this is the one just... You have to read this. It is so wonderful. It's like, I mean, it is such a work of art, period. Aside from the fact that the art is beautiful. And
the art is singular. And like we were talking about earlier, like a lot of Golden Age artists are like, you know, have a drawer full of fucking drawings of Alex Raymond comics and they're like copying them.
Yeah.
Like Harry Peter did not.
Yes.
His name's Harry Peter. But like he did not copy a fucking person. Like he did not copy shit. Like that guy was like just like, and he drew Wonder Woman into the 50s and like it never stopped being totally inventive and totally strange and bizarre and awesome. And but I would also say you should, if you're going to buy one, like you should also buy that All-Star Comics because it's also
All-Star
really
is
cool.
also
There's
wonderfully bizarre.
two top-notch facsimiles in a week is a good week.
And I really do think so. Like, to me, so far, the only 2 issues of these DC reprints that I've been like, I need to own this, have been All-Star and Wonder Woman. I'm just like, I picked those up and I'm just like, these are both magical things. That more specifically because of its patent weirdness. Wonder Woman is, don't get me wrong, it is a very weird comic. Very, very weird. But also it is a singular artistic vision that, like, historically you may never see again.
Right.
I mean, it's just a magical thing. I'm so amazed by it. And I've never read it before, and I had not realized how fully formed the idea was at issue 1. I don't think I realized that it had all of the elements right there, right from the beginning, and it's just amazing.
You should read that book,
Jill
Lepore book.
I know. I really need to.
There's a lot of work and planning went into that. Like it's like in that same way that like Sesame Street is like, oh man, they really thought about this a lot before the first one happened.
I would also like to read a book about that.
Yeah, maybe Jill Lepore would do a book about Sesame Street.
I'm currently reading a 5,000-page biography of the guy that built Central Park. So,
oh, cool.
Called The Power Broker, which is just
nice.
Oh my God, it's too much. It's breaking my mind. Anyway, X-Force number 46 is out.
Yep.
And so is X-Men Red, which is historically one of the better titles for X-Men. And we've got probably another highlight of the week. I mean, for a certain demographic, this is going to be your favorite book of the week. Boombox's Zawa and the Belly of the Beast by Michael Dialynis. God, I can't pronounce that last name. Dialynis?
Dialysis.
Dialynis. Ugh, it's like one of those Greek names that's really hard to pronounce. My brain can't wrap around it. You'd think that I'd be able to do that, but nope, can't do it. Sorry. But it's a great book. It's definitely, it falls into that kind of hot topic-y kind of thing.
Yeah, mall goth.
It's definitely got some mall goth going on, but it's also fun mall goth. I mean,
yeah, it looks fun.
I don't hold that in any kind of disrespect. I actually like a lot of that stuff. I like Zim. I like a lot of the Johnny the Homicidal Maniacs. Even the Roman Dirge stuff I enjoy. So it definitely, if you like the Roman Dirge, Scotty Young type of thing, you're going to be totally into this. It is...
Yeah.
And actually this feels weirdly, because the art style could have been Scotty Young or could have been any of those other people. I would have expected it to be more generic than it is, but I think
No, it has heart. It
But
has,
it has
like,
heart and
personality.
Yeah, and it has its own thing, and it has its own sense of place.
You got personality, kid.
Well, yeah, but like even like I Hate Fairyland, the locations aren't so important. They're like, we're in a gumdrop forest and I'm going to stab you or whatever. It's like it's like you really kind of get a sense of the location. There's a lot of world building that went into this book, and I think that they do a really good job of that. Yeah, I love this book. It's not my style, but I really appreciate what they're doing.
Totes.
And that's kind of the deal.
Yeah.
And that's it for the day.
And also don't forget that there's new DC
yes.
mangas. You got that Superman eating ramen
Superman
number 2, and
eating
you
ramen
got
number 2.
one of my favorite is Joker One Operation Joker Volume 2 is out.
Yeah.
Totally worth getting if you haven't.
Absolutely.
If you didn't get the first one, which you probably still have in stock, I'm not sure, but it's the one where the Joker accidentally turns Batman into a baby and then like raises him in order to be able to make him an adult so that they can fight again. It's really, really entertaining.
I mean, it's no Superman eating ramen, but sure.
It is not. And the cover of the Superman eating ramen is
suggestive.
Really, it's a cover and a half.
It sure is. Yeah. Yeah, if you thought that those two
It's sort of next
big
level.
dudes doing it, if you thought that those two chubby cubbies going at it was bad,
It's literally
check out Superman and Batman.
Batman riding on Superman's back, feeding him as they fly.
Suggestively.
It's weird. But the
It
One
is
Operation
weird.
Joker I really like. I think it's good.
They're all really fun.
And there's lots of trades and things.
There's so many trades out this week. So just come in, check out the website, coastcitycomics.com. Come to the store, buy things online. It helps us keep making the podcast. It helps us do all of the things. It helps us stay alive at a time when we're seeing shops close all the fuck over the place.
Well, and you're also heading into winter, so it's a slow,
Maine, which is brutal. So
I've seen the traffic in the store drop a little bit over the last few weeks. So
and
it's dark.
Just in Portland in general, it's like it's slowing down. So hit us up. We appreciate it.
You don't even have to come in. You can buy it off the website.
We have so much stuff on our website, and we're working on more stuff now. People had been asking us for many years because we used to sell Magic cards by the singles in the store. We don't do that anymore because of logistics and all of that. But now you can get them on our website. We're putting our singles up on the website now. So there is a space for them, so you can order them online. If you're local, you can order them and pick them up here. We have some really high-test stuff up there. We actually have something like we have like a $500 card on the website right now.
Whoa.
So yeah, we have a Mox Diamond. But yeah, we've got good shit. We actually took our when I was cleaning out, because we're moving the screen printing, I actually found our old Coast City's old rares binder that we had 10 years ago when we were doing singles, and I just handed it to Marshall and I was like, Magic cards, here, list them. And also a secret, if you are a Magic player, we don't want to fight with anybody over condition, so we got a bunch of stuff up there that we're listing as heavily played. It is not heavily played. We just don't want to have any arguments about this anymore. Wow. So it's just like we're massively undergrading everything because I have personal trauma with dealing with Magic people, so I just want to make sure that they get a good deal so that they leave me alone.
Yeah, no, I hear that. I actually have some trauma left over from when I used to work in a comic shop that sold Magic singles. It's really can be way more traumatic than you would expect.
Yeah, it really is. It's unfortunately, Magic is the bane of every comic shop, and it's... You know what? If you're listening to this, I can almost guarantee it's not you. But the thing is that the people, but those people, nobody gets offended by this because anybody who plays Magic has been to one of these events and knows the people that we're talking about that make your life a living hell. And so they're aware that these people exist, and they are brutal.
Yeah.
It is just, dealing with them is horrific. So, you just don't want to bring that upon yourself if at all possible. And that's what we're doing.
Go on the website, get them.
Yeah, check it all out. Tons of stuff, tons of toys, tons of new stuff. I'm every week I'm getting better and better at listing back issues. We have so many older series, and we're starting to put weirder stuff up. I'm like going out of my way to put up things that you wouldn't expect. The site, because like a normal comic shop, you're going to go on and you're going to find your normal Marvels and DCs. I'm putting up some Now comics. We've got some Comicos going up there. We've got some weird stuff.
I brought you some Ralph Snarts today.
One of the things, I mean, we're also kind of like trying to skew towards horror too. So like those Trick or Treat, the Halloween Comico. Do you remember that series?
Yeah.
It was really good. We put those up. Those all sold out the second I put them up, honestly.
Cool.
Like it took like days before somebody found those and cleaned us out.
Nice.
Which was super cool. And I was like, oh, well, this rewards me for this kind of idea of putting up weird stuff.
Nice.
So I'm going to start putting up more weird stuff. And I'm excited about it. You know, like every time I see something where it was like, oh, I don't even remember this Silver Surfer miniseries, I'll put it up and somebody will buy it and I'll be like, yes, that's great. I'm so glad that like this is working for people. So, that makes me super happy.
Nice.
And yeah, so check it out. Go on a deep dive. There's some really fun stuff on our website. And follow us at Coast City Comics and at Funbox Monster Podcast and at Actually Comics. Those are all of our Instagrams. And you can find Bob at Dollar Binge.
You can. I have been sort of slow lately posting. But
there's he's already put up so much stuff though.
Yeah, no, there's lots to look at.
So much good stuff.
Yeah.
And and that's it. We thank you so much for listening, and I will also be sometime in the next year. I'm starting my next Kickstarter, and it's going to be for something cool. And we've talked about it. You've heard it a million times, but it's going to be awesome. And so I'll spam you with it then.
Nice.
Awesome. Thank you so much for listening, and we will see you next week. Good night.
Bye. When does Red Wraith come out of the shop?